Welcome to the Daily Detoxx Podcast. I'm your man Deon J, and today we got brother Leroy Thorpe. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah.
Good. So, brother Thorpe, it's been long awaited to get you on the show. Today we got some interesting topics to talk about. First off, let's talk about this term that's been used towards most black men in America. This term has made us look like the aggressor on many occasions. Let's just put it out there. Toxic masculinity. What's your take on that, good brother?
Well, it's probably attack on real men being men. Probably something that evolved out of the feminist movement in the gay rights or LBGT community, where black men, particularly, being targeted or accused of being toxic masculinity, are real men. I mean, this is the way Almighty God Allah made us to be men, to speak like men, not to be soft, not to be weak, but to be very strong and firm with our articulation. In this day and age, a lot of our sisters have been duped and bamboozled by this European American culture to accept the immorality that's going around in terms of sexuality, men wanting to be women, women wanting to be men, and it's nothing but a satanic type of situation. So yeah, I dismiss it. You know, like I tell people, I'm a man. How do you expect me to talk? I'm a man. You know, this is how Almighty God Allah made me. I am a man. I'm not a woman. Of course, there's time you can be soft spoken, but oftentimes when you're communicating, you're a man. You're going to talk with confidence and clarity. So I dismiss that type of language, toxic masculinity. Something I just overlook, and something that evolved out of the European American culture, where African Americans want to be validated by European Americans, want to accept this nonsense.
I mean, do you feel like it's just another stigmatism that they put on black men? Like,
Absolutely. I mean, in this society, in the West, particularly here in America, black men have always been envied and envied by white men, and they presented this element of black man is aggressive, but a white man could be assertive. The black man is violent. The white man is assertive. They fear us. I mean, we're very strong people. Black men are. However, in this day and time, many of our brothers are falling victim to the LBGT influence that has demasculinized them, making them weak. Even when you look into the Hollywood, you see black men wearing dresses, acting like women. This is to basically take the masculinity out of them, to make them look weak, like most or some white European males, very weak, that want to be like women, emulate women, and not be the man they were created to be. Oftentimes, you see these men changing their natural sexuality.
but you see, brother, you see the brother Tyler Perry dressing up as a woman, and he made millions. And he felt that he was portraying his aunt who raised him and who inspired him. He was just pretty much re-promoting her behavior.
Yeah, but I like Tyler Perry. I think he's done a lot to help African American those in the arts, the acting arts. I think he's done a lot to help them out. However, that's one minor aspect I don't like about him dressing as a woman. He could have found a very talented African American woman to portray someone in his family. Again, this is something that is certainly not good for. I wouldn't want my children to see something like that. A man dressing up like a woman, or a woman dressing up like a man. This is something that's this type of behavior is learned behavior, and that can also turn into something that's negative or evil. Um, that's my take on it.
Um, so, do you think homophobia is a part of toxic masculinity?
Well, I don't even think there's a term called homophobia. I mean, homophobia. That's a term that's really kind of it doesn't make sense to me. Um, I don't think people are afraid of homosexuals or lesbians. I think people that, like myself, that does not approve of such behavior of a man wanting to be a woman and having relationships with men, or a woman wanting to be a man having relationships with women. This is something that has been condemned in the three holy books, whether you're a Christian studying the Injil, the gospel, or whether you're Jewish studying the Torah, or if you're a Muslim studying the Holy Quran. You know, people forget the history where Allah had destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, practicing homosexuality. So people uh, don't really believe or adhere to divine law. So they make up man made laws where they make these laws based upon their desires. So therefore, I don't think people are scared of homosexuals or lesbians. People just don't like that type of behavior, particularly when you look at the research in the African American community. Most of the African American community are religious people, and they don't subscribe to the immorality of lesbianism and homosexuality. It's society here, particularly is rampant here in America, where this type of abnormal, anti-religion, and nasty type of behavior is practiced. Even dogs don't practice homosexuality on one another, or the male dogs doesn't do that to a male dog, and the female dog doesn't do that to a male dog. They have more dignity than some of these people that's actually practicing this.
So, tell the people a little bit about yourself. I know you're a social worker, and you do run used to run a civic association. I know you ran for office a few times within the city. So, tell me a little bit more detail about yourself.
Well, I was actually born in the uh, Hudson Valley area of upstate New York, from a small river town called on the Hudson River called Beacon, New York, and raised in the town of Fishkill, in a little community called Glenham, where most of the people that homestead migrated from Florida, the state of Florida, uh, came up, built their homes, established a black community. I would say that of all homeowners, and I grew up in the DC, I'm sorry, the New York public school system prior to going to college at John C. Smith originally, Marshall University, where I graduated with a BA rather in political science, and then the Howard University graduate school of social work, transferring over to UDC, the University of British Columbia, earning my master's in psychological counseling. And I've been employed for many, many years with the district government as a licensed social worker. I'm also a licensed professional counselor. I've served 18 years on the lowest elected position in DC, the Advisory Neighborhood Commission, basically pioneering the citizen patrol movement in the District of Columbia back in 1988, where Myself and Imam Talib Abdul Samad founded a citizen volunteer patrol group called COPE, Citizen Organized Patrol Efforts, known by Red Hats. We received a lot of international exposure. It's film crews from Japan, uh, British Columbia, um, and we've been in the congressional record 3 times by 3 different Congress people regarding our anti-drug and crime activities in D.C. We shut down 52 documented crack houses in D.C. Hosted over 120 anti-drug rallies and marches, and we received many mayoral proclamation for DC police awards, and it's 5 books written about my work on politics, race, um, and crime. Most recently, Cappuccino City, which was written by Derek Hyra from American University, and there's another one that came out uh, called Chocolate City 2 years ago, which there's some quite a bit of misinformation there because I never even met the authors. But
Yeah, I actually bought that book.
did you?
Yeah, it seemed pretty interesting. I mean, one thing I learned was about how majority of the houses on certain areas of the city had like, well, they call them bottom basements now, but there actually were the living slave quarters for most of the slaves who worked for the diplomats and people in D.C.
Yes.
Yeah, so that book was pretty interesting. I didn't get a chance to finish it, but it seemed pretty good. But it seems like you've been in the city for a long time, man.
Yeah, I have. I've been in the city for a long time. And you basically say I'm almost a Washingtonian, spending a majority of my life here, particularly my adult life. I'll be 64 years old on
Wow,
August 16th,
that's great, man.
2020. And I have 3 kids, 2 from my first marriage when I was married young in college, and my youngest child, Fatima, from my beautiful wife from Senegal. I married in Senegal, Chateau Drami. We have a beautiful young daughter, Fatima, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I'm, um, I'm a Muslim. I'm a Sunni Muslim. Very engaged in the Muslim Ummah community, and happy and thankful to Allah that I was able to fulfill the last pillar in Islam, the Hajj, twice to Mecca.
Nice. So, what's your take on this controversy that's going on in the news about Nick Cannon making these anti-Semitic comments about the Jews? Can you clarify like his statement a little bit, like give a little detail, or if it's true or factual, or he told partial of the truth? I
Well,
mean,
well, the practice of Muslim, there's a verse in the Holy Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, that talks about the Jews, how they had murdered a lot of prophets that came to them, and that a lot of them value this world. They changed the Torah. Some of the rabbis they actually changed the Torah, the original Torah that came down through the angel Gabriel. He's the one that brings revelation to all the prophets. And but yeah, there's some good Jews and there's some bad Jews. Nick's comments were based upon the history of Egypt, where um, he and he's correct that during that dynasty, they had many dynasty. There was a black dynasty of black Jews. There's no really such term called Jews. It's called Hebrews. The Jewish term is a term that was made up. Is Hebrew, and he was right about that. The people were dark skinned and basically black in a hot climate. I don't necessarily agree with him on the fact that Jews per se have killed people to get ahead and that type of thing. Maybe some have, but you can't generalize. You can't say everybody have done that. I have some Jewish associates that have sponsored a lot of community events for me in Shaw, where I live at, benefiting African Americans, and so I think he was partly correct, but I don't think he should have. After doing that, I don't think he should have really kind of backed down to the political pressure that was put on him. I think he could have probably explained it, articulated his point, but backing down, he lost a lot of credibility with his community, African Americans, because they felt that he was being weak and trying to appease people. This is what black people do, whether it's some special interest group coming after them to make them give in to something that they believe in. I mean, he has his own viewpoints, but I think he could have clarified more of what he meant and without apologizing.
So basically, he should have just retracted his statement and then kind of gave more details.
Exactly.
They were saying that he was sitting down with the rabbi and having a conversation to try to use as another diversion tactic to really take away the bad energy that he brought out with his statements. Like, I feel like it's unnecessary to do all that. Like, if you have a podcast and you have viewpoints and you mean what you say, you stick by it. You know what I mean? You don't, or you just, if you said something that offended someone, then you use some, try to find some clarity to make it stick.
I agree with you. And when you look at this particular country here in North America, this European society is very racist, very oppressive. And what happens is that if you're not basically assimilating into their belief system, European values and norms, then you're considered an outcast. They are consider you someone that is threatening to them because you don't have the same viewpoints. And I understand what you're saying. And but a lot of these so-called Negroes and Negresses in our community give in and apologize and get weak, and so they can stay validated or get the crumbs that's basically thrown at them in this so-called system.
Everything. What's your take on people destroying the monuments in the city? I know Mayor Bowser has some issues with some people destroying the statue inside of Lincoln Park. It's the statue with Lincoln, who has his hand over top of a slave's head, and she actually, got police officers to guard the statue and to make sure that people wouldn't take it down. She said, "Let's not destroy our statues. Let's have a conversation about it." I'm like, well, how can you have a conversation about a statue that looks demeaning towards black people? Like, I don't get it. It's either it goes down or it stays up. So it's, what's your take?
Well, as a practicing Sunni Muslim, we don't believe in statues, pictures being displayed out in any type of manner. When you look at a statue, you're referring to in Lincoln Park in Northeast Washington, D.C., where you have a white man, a white supremacist, Lincoln, who really didn't free the slaves. He basically was looking out for the Union and the economic situation. Most of these Negroes and Negresses, bourgeoisies, would tell you that, oh, he was a good man. He freed. No, no, no. He was looking out for it. It was an economic decision he made because the North was not benefiting from the Southern ownership of slaves and the tobaccos and the cotton gins down there. So it had some type of economic, political controversy between North and South. So when you look at that statue I'm talking about, when you have Lincoln towering over a subordinate black man on his knees, and Lincoln has his hands on his head, that's a very demeaning. I commend the Black Lives Movement, Black Lives Matter movement for destroying all these statues. I don't think any of them deserve to be displayed anywhere out in public like that. If there was some history, that should be put inside some type of museum with the headline white supremacy and racism and that type of thing. But those type of images has a very negative effect on the social process of development. When you look at black children who see white men of authority or white women in authority, and their people, black people, in a subordinate role. I think Bowser's move was based on politics. She's a politician. She has a majority white constituent base here in Washington D.C. And she wants to stay in office. And it's for her to be a Washingtonian. I think she should have took a stronger stance than what she did. I mean, even Eleanor Holmes Norton was against that particular statue of Lincoln towering over this black slave. For many years, Congresswoman Norton wanted to get that statue removed. Strong black woman. I have a lot of respect for Eleanor Holmes Norton. Not too many black politicians in D.C., particularly Washingtonians, stand up for the people. It's shameful.
Did you see that they actually destroyed the Arthur Ashe statue? One of our frat brothers. They
No,
just
I didn't. I wasn't privy to that information.
That doesn't even make any sense. Why would you destroy Arthur Ashe's statue? Is it just because it's a black statue and they think, okay, you're destroying the white statues, we're going to destroy the black statues? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, it doesn't. But as I indicated before, I'm against any type of statue or photo of a human being being displayed in public.
Yeah, I mean, Arthur Ashe is a professional
Yeah,
tennis
yeah, it's our
player.
frat brother. He's a Kappa Alpha Psi brother
Right.
that did a lot of humanitarian work, and he was a very. And I met him. I met him one time at Howard University while I was a graduate student there, and we were discussing an event that the Z Chapter brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi held in the Blackburn Center, and Arthur said to me, "I don't think this story's going to make the Kappa Journal." He was right; it didn't make the Kappa Journal, but was a good brother. Nothing but a good thing to say
So
about him.
here's a question. Do you think black celebrities should be leaders?
You know, that's a good question. Do I think black celebrities should be leaders? Well, let me just say this to you.
Or politicians or activists?
Well, here's what we have to understand as a people. In this particular country here in North America, most of the time it's the Europeans that determine who black people are supposed to follow. They're the one that creates the image in the media that they own. Oh, this is a good man. This man has done this. This woman has done this, and this man or woman might be one of the biggest Uncle Toms, Aunt Your Mamas, uh, 21st century Uncle Toms and Negresses that exist that they want to basically put out in front to be leaders so you can emulate them. That's why I think the Black Lives Movement was so significant because had they not got disorderly and disrupted the economic situation in DC by looting stores or burning different buildings, and we wouldn't be sitting here right now talking about Black Lives Movement because it would be like the old Negro song in the civil rights and the Negro movement in the civil rights. We shall over. Well, look, stop singing and start swinging. That's the only way you're going to get freedom. You're not going to, freedom have never been fought. The American Revolution, the Civil War, nothing has never been fought singing a song or being peaceful. You have to speak the same language as these people are speaking. If that person is speaking French and you speak in German, they're not going to understand you. You they understand when you start going out there and destroying their economic situation, getting violence and that type of thing. You see what's going on right now. There's a whole movement right now regarding public policy. Oh, these people are for real. These are not like the old Negroes and Negresses we had back in the 1960s. These people are serious.
Hmm. Wow, that's deep, man. Um, last I wanted to talk about is you mentioned the Black Lives Matter movement, and I I think the movement is good. I think there's a lot of COINTELPRO inside the movement as well. where there's some insiders that are causing some type of ruckus in the community. Like you saw that there was a white girl that burned down a Wendy's, and I'm trying to figure that out. Like, why is she burning down Wendy's? She's white. She has nothing to do with this. I mean, that burning down a Wendy's has nothing to do with Black Lives Matters.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right about that. These are people that joined the movement to try to make it a bad type of social, social movement by doing these things, and then it sheds a light on this Black Lives Movement thing. Where wait a minute, they're burning down the Wendy's, but then again, you look at the situation as I indicated before. It could be some people that are infiltrating and being spies, but the bottom line is that the Black Lives Movement are getting attention because people are saying, hey, wait a minute, I don't want my business burnt down. I see businesses right now in the short community where these people don't even want to hire black people, but they're putting Black Lives Matter signs out in their stores because they fear that their stores may be attacked. So it's not because they actually love black people and they want to protect black people. They actually want to protect their assets and their economics. One of the things I don't like about the Black Life Movement infiltration is the LBGT movement inside of it. The LBGT movement has nothing to do with Black Lives Movement. In fact, from my experience, some of these LBGT white folks, in particular, are more racist than the KKK. These are people
Mm.
that have very lucrative jobs in Washington D.C. and around this nation, that are involved in public policy that basically keep black people behind socially, economically, and even politically, because they don't vote for them unless you are Uncle Tom. What you see in D.C. now, if you ain't either gay or white folks nigger, you ain't getting elected. A strong black man or woman that wants to represent their community is not going to get elected because that is not what they want. So you find most of these politicians appeasing these white folks and trying to be validated by them, forgetting that they have a culture themselves, they have a history themselves, a civilization themselves, but their mind has been lost back in Africa, so they don't understand it. And Africa is one of the budding places with natural resources in the world, where it's the future of the world. But the white folks got these black people thinking Africa got elephants and tigers running around when these people are living in a higher civilization than here in America. They don't have homosexuality on the level they got here in this country. They condemn that. They also they pay for what they want. They don't get people. They don't get put in psychological slavery by being in debt. They give you a credit card to keep you in debt, and you're working all your life being a slave. These people in Africa own their homes, and they got high morals. They got good family values. They don't. They're not putting their families in a nursing home to die. They actually have their old folks live in their home with them. They have good norms and values. How their people basically teach them how to go out and make a living for yourself and not to be begging anyone for your means. So um, I want to add that I just think that the LBGT movement has adversely um, gave a perception to the Black Lives Movement. There's no link between the two. Most black people are basically religious. They go to church, they go to the mosque, or they go to whatever religious affiliation they're with, and they're not involved in homosexuality or lesbianism. And this is something they're just trying to throw down the throats of people of color, particularly black people, and try to make a link up with them like they support them, when in fact they don't like them at all.
Wow. What's your take on black folks getting reparations? I mean, America has given out stimulus packages, up to $1 trillion or so, and you know we've seen them distribute money to masses of people. So now that gives us some type of hope of idea that we can receive reparations in some type of value. I mean, some people say we should receive reparations by like free education, and a few other tools, financial tools. But how can you pick what type of reparations we get? It doesn't make any sense to me. What's your take on us getting reparations?
Well, let's look at what the white man here in America did uh, for the Native Americans, the Indians. They recently the Supreme Court ruled that the I believe it was the Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma, now half of that state it has to be given to the Native Indians. You would never find them saying something like that for African Americans after they lied to us during the Emancipation Proclamation, uh, saying that the free slaves would get 40 acres and a mule. And you look at those folks that came before some of our leaders like Malcolm X, Perrin Mitchell, or Adam Clayton Powell, one of the great congressmen from New York City, Adam Clayton Powell. Um, the reparations is something that if they say they're going to give us 40 acres in the mule, we shouldn't settle for nothing less than 40 acres in the mule. Again, if you want it, you're not going to get it sitting in a room at a table and begging these folks in power to give you something. You have to go out and take it, like the Black Lives Movement matters, the Black Life Matter movement. You have to go out and take it, and that's what they're doing. They're changing social and public policy, and they should move not just beyond that. They need to move into the boardrooms, corporate boardrooms, and employment. You can see discrimination even in the District of Columbia, where the District of Columbia will value white workers more than black workers, giving more money, more contracts, and black people are just getting crumbs. Even when you look at the contracts in the city, the opportunities, and black people are getting pushed out of the city. You don't hear these so-called neoliberals, or the liberals, the most racist type of political people around, advocating for black people. Black people think liberals are so good. These are the people who keep them in slavery.
It's funny because Barry Sanders said that he really wasn't sure how America should distribute reparations, and I'm like, okay, you want people to vote for you, but you said you got to do more research and figure that out. I mean, come on, reparations has been in discussion for years. You have to have some type of strategy that you could throw off the top of your head to let us know that something is leaning towards black folks. I mean,
yeah, but the strategy should be going out there in the streets and taking it. Disrupting their economic system. Some people say, "Well, he's breaking the law." He said, "Well, look, I'm just keeping it real. How do you think America got to where America is? They went out and they're still going over to people countries, forcing their so-called immoral lifestyle on these folks. They're going over there killing people, ravaging their economies, stealing their resources, and so you have to understand, if you want something, you got to go out there and take it. There's no negotiation for no freedom. There's no negotiation for to survive. You have to go out there and take it. I'm just keeping it real with you. I mean, and this is what the Black Lives Matter movement is doing. They're going out there and they taking it.
Wow. Interesting. Thank you, good brother, for coming to the show. Really appreciate your input that you've given.
Well, let me just say that all praises be to Allah for blessing you for having me on this show. But let me say that I'm not a racist. I don't subscribe to any racism. I think Allah blessed us to basically come together and get along. That our mother and father that came out of paradise, Adam and Eve, is the mother and father of all of us, whether what race or culture you are, but it's man that has listened to Shaitan, the devil, that divides us. At the same time, living here in this racist country, I'm not going to be deceived by the racism, the trickery that goes on with this dominant culture here that pretends to promote freedom, justice, and equality for everybody, when in fact they're only promoting it for themselves. Therefore, I think people have the right to go out and take and get their God-given rights and what's due to them once it's been taken away from them. And I'm talking about our people, the most horrible treated people in the history of the world. Coming over 200 of us coming from the west coast of Africa, and only about 30% of us survived that, coming over here, thrown out into the ocean, taken over to the West Indies where women were pregnant, and to put the fear in black men, they were slicing a woman's wound open that was carrying a baby to put fear in them. I mean, come on, man, you can't tell me nothing about that. So again, I'm just keeping it real with folks. I'm not trying to down nobody's religion. I believe in all the great religions. The only three great religions that Allah came that are divine. That is Judaism, Christianity, and Islam last and foremost. So I'm just keeping it real. Thank you.
Oh, okay. One more topic. One more topic.
Yes.
Do you think that we hold on? Do you think that we should defund the police?
No, I think that's ridiculous. There are some bad police officers out there. I've been victim of some bad police officers, just like they should defund the judicial, the racist judicial system, where you got some racist judges down there. You got some racist lawyers. Defund the legal system. It's not just the police. It's the entire system. You do need law and order. You do need law and order. You have some people out here that are just lawless. They have no regard for people's rights. They have no regard for law and order. Now, I don't believe in defunding no police department.
But do you think that if they make the police stations private, that it would allow for more litigation to happen for bad police officers, where the union can't actually, cover up for these guys? I mean, look at the guys who killed George Floyd. I mean, the 4 officers that were involved, the 1 officer that actually killed him, and then the other 3 that watched, where basically they were arrested and locked up, and then they were bailed out by the union. The union gave one of the guys $75,000 to get out of jail. So, I mean, that just kind of looks,
Well, when you have to look at the leadership. Everything starts with the leadership. The leadership. The leadership basically sets the tone. Whether you're in corporate America, you're running a government or a private industry, you have to look at the leadership. I mean, I think that you have some good, particularly here in DC. Here in DC, I think you have some bad apples, but I think the police department here in DC are far apart than those around the country. When you start looking at violating people's rights and that type of thing, I think that they're not on that. They're not on that level, and I think that there's checks and balances in civilization here. The Black Lives Matter movement, they straightened that situation out, didn't they? Regarding George Floyd, I mean, it's ridiculous what they did to him and other black people, and black people we haven't even heard about, even other people of color, the Latino community. My thing is that you have balances. You have balance. You have the people. The people are the ones going to speak. The people are the ones that's going to always have to rise up and do something that's right when you have injustices.
Have you ever heard of Candace Owens?
Yeah, Candace, you talking about the Black Republican?
Yes.
Sister?
She had an interview with one of our frat brothers, Mark Lamont Hill. They had a discussion about the whole, George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, and a few other issues on the table. And it seemed like during the whole interview, she was pretty much trying to get him to come out of his character, like, make him look like the angry black man, based over some of her comments that she made, where she said that, the black community tries to make George Floyd some type of hero, but they don't look at his track record where he was actually destroying the community and a lot of different acts that he's done in the past with his criminal record. And, that has nothing to do with a police officer brutalizing you and killing you. I don't understand how that makes a connection, but I guess she's trying to diverge what the real issue is.
Well, you have to understand, she married to a white boy, so most of her, she wants to be validated by white folks. Not to say that anybody that's married to a white person is bad, but you look at her. She married a rich white boy. I believe he's from Europe, and so she's basically is in a socialized. She's been socialized to act, to try to act or think like Europeans. But what she forgot to tell you is that most of the founding fathers here, most or all of the founding fathers here in America that came over and slaughtered the native Indians and raped them and everything, were cast out of Europe. They were cast out of England. They were the people that had mental health issues. They were rapists. They were the most violent criminals around, and they came over here and slaughtered the Indians to make their own society after they got kicked out of their own white country in England. So she forgot to tell you that. So you can't get no more wicked and wicked than that. Now I think this is something that Nick Cannon probably should have articulated when he got his stuff together here. So Candace is the sister that she's almost like an agent. She's their Aunt Jemima. She's their house Negro or Negresses. So you would expect Candace to come out like that. That's what they do. They always find these Uncle Toms and Aunt Jemimas and put them on TV and make them look like they're leaders and that type of thing to attack black people and to make them look bad. They're not going to put somebody on TV like myself or Malcolm X or some other strong black woman or a man that has self-esteem and pride and culture, being satisfied with who they are and not trying to be validated by them, because that would take away their power of supremacy, white supremacy, and then they don't want to be equal to us. That's why you have a gap in education, a gap in economics, because these folks don't believe in no equality, they believe in getting everything for themselves.
Do you feel like Obama did a lot for black folks when he was in office?
Man, Obama, in my views, was the worst president, one of the worst presidents we ever had. This man killed more Muslims than any U.S. president in history. Obama was catering to the white people. Or he would come to a black meeting. Yeah, he would sing. He would move. He would probably get a little bit of rhythm and soul and belt out a James Brown tune or something like that. But he didn't do nothing for black people. This man, even look at his kids. Look at the oldest one now. She's smoking pot. Got a white boy over in England, rich, and she have nuts. The younger one is doing much better at Michigan State. I mean, these are folks that fell victim into to the world, to the white establishment here. They got comfortable. Now they're making a lot of money. They were poor before. When he was in the Senate, in the White House, he had student loans like everybody else. But now he got money now. So he's comfortable. He's not going to rock the boat. He didn't do anything to uplift black people. To me, they were happy because, why are you saying about Obama? He's a brother. Man, what did he do for you? Actually, come on.
Well, they said that he gave us hope, that we could actually... I mean, Jesse gave us hope too, right? I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. That's the best way to see. I'm just saying, because Obama, hope for what? What kind of hope?
Like, that now that a young black boy can think about being president.
I mean, come on, man. You're going to be president. What did you do? You catered to the white folks. You gave them everything. Look at your lifestyle. Look where you live. He lives in Georgetown Ward. He lives in Ward 2. He lives in a secured area. He does. I mean, come on. Let's keep it for real. I mean, Obama is now. He half white anyway. His mama was white. His daddy was African. Even his brother over in Kenya said he don't know what happened to him. Here's a man that had some values and norms at one time. He started off as a Muslim, and then he was anti. He didn't support the gay lifestyle. Now he's promoting. That man has done a lot of harm in the city regarding morality, except in the LGBT community and that type of thing. What kind of uplifting have he done? He's a disgrace. That man got into
Well, they
That
said
man
that.
got into the White House and didn't do nothing for black people. Period.
Well,
He
they
did
said
for
that.
himself.
Well, they said that he increased the
Man, let me tell you something right now.
job employment rate.
I'm not I don't like Donald Trump, but Donald Trump did more for Obama regarding economic for black people than he did. Okay, the economy is high. The economy was good prior to COVID-19. Black people did get stimulus money. If you want to say that, Obama man didn't do nothing for black people, man, except walk around the White House and pimp it, and he invited some black entertainers there. He gave out some medals. He opened up the White House for you to come and take a look at it and stuff like that. But look at a person's condition. How many black people own houses now? How many black people own farms right now? How many black people are in colleges? How many? I mean, that's what you have to measure by. A leader is someone improves your. A leader is someone that a good leader improves your life, whether it's social, economic, or political. But see, his life improved socially, economically, and political. But what about his people? We didn't do. You're always going to have a few people, a few cronies that you like, that you look out for. But he didn't. He was too afraid to speak out and risk his life to be in a high office and really speak about the issues that affect black people in this country.
I mean,
I'm not a big fan of this man at all because personally, he didn't do nothing for me. I had to do it for myself, and I still do. I don't depend on no Republican or racist Democratic Party in order for me to get out there and get something. I have to get it myself.
but that goes back to my original point earlier about should black celebrities be leaders in the community, because there's limitations on how far they can go.
I mean, should they be leaders? I mean, look, you got some celebrities that may talk and do some good things. I particularly like Don Cheadle. I think Don Cheadle is an actor that have some integrity. There are the few actors out there that have. I like. I like Ice Cube. I think he's the brother that the entertainer and a actor that has some pretty good views. But most of those people, once you get caught up in Hollywood and you start talking about entertainers and sports figures, man, it's like if you don't adhere to the white norms and values and social norms, you're going to be ostracized like our frat brother. Cap Alpha brother Colin Kaepernick. Look at him. He spoke out. He was a high performing athlete, and he spoke out about the racism in the country. And what they do, they basically economically castrated him.
Hold up. Let me back up, because they actually took away, his ability to play football in his contract, but he did gain.
He did gain later on.
Nike gave him a contract,
right? And he's also with some publishing company
right,
that they did. But
he's actually gained more than loss.
Right. All praises be to Allah. But initially, they economically castrated him by keeping him out. Allah bless that man because he was doing something good to actually come out on top. Absolutely. But the point I was trying to articulate is that they actually took away his livelihood. Okay, when he was demonstrating for the inequality in this country and the racism, but Allah bless this man to actually probably make more money than he was making from his contract. Absolutely right. But this is just an example in terms of you're saying should black actors or entertainers be leaders? I don't look at them for no leadership, man. I look at my leader is my prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I look at him. If you're a Jew, you may look at Moses. If you're Christian, at that time you may look at Jesus. But the best one in mankind that I look at a human being is Prophet Muhammad. In terms of how he was, the last prophet for all mankind. So my thing is that I don't look at these sport figures and even my deceased mother, I look at her as a role model for me, someone that taught me good norms and values and common sense and that type of thing. So I don't get caught up on this worldly thing. This is how people get caught up and have mental health problems, like what's his name?
Kanye West.
Kanye West, and now it's Nick Cannon. These people get caught up in that, and then these people have you dangling on the string with the money. Well, if you don't do this and that, then you're not going to get this. I mean, come on, man.
Did you hear that comment that Kanye mentioned? Kanye said where Harriet Tubman never freed the slaves. She just uh, took black folks to work for white folks.
You know what? And I heard that statement. Harriet Tubman was a fantastic, great woman that actually took a lot of black people that were under the oppression and the evil of white slave owners in the South to the North, where these people actually did have an opportunity to make a living. We are descendants of these folks, and they still got us in economic slavery where they threaten you on the job. If you don't, you got certain people that they threaten. If you don't do this, we're going to take your job away and that type of thing. That's why black people need to pull their resources together and buy property and stop being consumers. Because we're always saying we're poor, but we're not. The black capital per se in this country equal the ninth largest country in the world. But we misappropriate our funds by spending it on alcohol, drugs, potato chips, tobacco, soda. We don't produce anything. We're consumers.
Right.
So once we begin to have home ownership, which builds wealth and that type of thing, then becoming renters, we have to set that mindset. We have to set that mindset, and that's come when you basically are a little child. You have to set that mindset. So we're still in slavery when we look at economics, and the white people know that, and that's why they dangle that their paycheck in front of you and that type of thing. And that's why the Black Lives Matter movement need to keep attacking the economic system, the injustices there, the injustices in the courtroom with these racist judges. They've got two laws, one for white folks and another for blacks and people of color. This stuff need to be tore down by any means necessary.
You mentioned earlier that we need to put our money together as a people and buy and own stuff. And I was listening to a conversation with Dr. Claude Anderson. He's a regular guest on the Dr. Boyce Watkins show. And basically he said that, with all these celebrities out here, like, P. Diddy and Dr. Dre and Oprah and a few, Robert Smith and Robert Johnson. I'm just naming some of the, wealthy celebrities that are out here. That why can't they put their money together to start our own bank, like an enterprise bank, like Bank of America, like a bank on that type of level?
Bob Johnson is one of our frat brothers, started BET. However, you still got some that fall astray. When these people that you just named are the black bourgeoisie that have benefited from the white power structure here in America. They're the ones that made them the celebrities that they are. Except for Bob Johnson, it was Marion Barry that basically set him up with a cable deal, and he basically turned that into BET. So I give him credit for that. But when you start looking at Oprah and all these folks like that, man, basically these folks, man, are trying to, with all their wealth, they may give a crumb here, they may have a crumb here, start a school here in Africa or whatever situation may be. But these people are trained, conditioned, and controlled house Negroes and Negresses. You're never going to see them come out controversial and say something that's true about black people actually having should be having the same opportunities to own a house, to own a business, to get a loan, to get a contract. You're not going to hear them come out and say things like that. Oprah is a nice lady, but she's the way white folks like her to be. Oprah's so nice to everybody. So that's what they want. These are not people that are out there trying to do what Tyler Perry's doing, build his own, and then employ black people and that type of thing, and then give things in secrecy a way to help black people out without had the press getting into it. The thing is that I don't look at these people as no role models. I look at them a bunch of house Negroes. When they're looking out for the interests of white folks so they can benefit and get their crumbs. So with all that wealth, what are they doing with it? And these are people that are afraid of their own people. You look at these people; they don't want to come into the urban areas where there's depression and plight, mental health issues, and open up substance abuse centers, mental health centers for these people.
What about the donations that they make? A lot of them.
The donations they make, that's nothing.
They say sometimes you want to be like a silent helper, a silent warrior. You're behind the scenes donating money.
This is something that white people do. They got that from white people to make them look like, man, look, they're throwing crumbs to people. Why can't they? I mean, if you want to be like Jesus, you believe in Jesus and give away all your wealth and to the poor and stop all the taxation. Why people got to be taxed in the first place? Because they earn their money. Why you taking the money, taxing the money? So I'm just keeping it real with you. I mean, these people. If you really want to be, if you really think you're doing some black people, take a lot of what you got and then give most of it away and try to survive. And if you want to uplift your people. I mean, let's keep it for real. These people are not my role models. I mean, this is their heaven. This is their world. But there's another world after that we have to be accountable for, where we're either going to go to heaven or go to hell and be accountable by our deeds. These people think this is it. This is not it. There's another world after this.
Thank you, good brother. Let's wrap it up. And you did an awesome job, brother Leroy. I'm glad to have you here on the show.
Well, praise be to Allah. May Allah bless you and your family and grant you paradise and keep you healthy and always keep you on the right path to help people that are indigenous. And may Allah keep you, make you a strong Kappa man. Fanu Pi, brother. I need more time.